Beyond the headlines, the untold stories of the East Coast-West Coast rivalry. We all know the story. East Coast versus West Coast. Biggie versus Tupac. A rivalry that defined an era and tragically ended the lives of two legends. But what if there was more to the story? What if the narrative we've been told only scratched the surface? Let's take a look behind the headlines, beyond the diss tracks, and into the untold stories of this complex conflict. The rivalry didn't start with hatred. There was a time when artists from both coasts admired and influenced each other. West Coast artists openly studied the work coming out of New York, embracing the sounds and sharpening their own skills. This wasn't a battle from the beginning, but rather a shared love for the craft. And at the heart of this was the friendship between Tupac and Biggie. Tupac, already a star, took Biggie under his wing, mentoring him and sharing his experiences in the industry. They were friends, collaborators, and brothers in the same struggle. But this friendship began to fracture in part due to the influence of some shady characters. The narrative often focuses on the big names, Tupac, Biggie, Suge, and Puffy. But the actions of others were just as important. Haitian Jack, described by Biggie as a shady guy, and Jimmy Henchman, played key roles in the events leading up to Tupac's shooting. Their involvement is a reminder that the conflict was fueled by more than just regional pride, but also personal agendas and dubious connections. And what about the robbery that started it all for Tupac? It was Dexter Isaac, a self-proclaimed participant in the robbery of Tupac, who revealed that Tupac's close friend Big Stretch set the whole thing up. This betrayal by someone in his inner circle is a reminder that trust was a rare commodity during that time. It was also around this time that the media began to amplify the conflict, and in some cases, they may have even been responsible for it. The media played a significant role in escalating tensions. They turned Biggie and Tupac into the poster boys for their respective sides, sensationalizing the conflict for profit. The media kept a curious audience current with blow-by-blow coverage, and the labels did not seem to care if artists died, as long as records sold. It's no wonder the artists and fans got caught up in the feud. They were being played as much as they were playing the game. Amidst the chaos and violence, there were also efforts to find peace. Minister Farrakhan, along with figures like Russell Simmons and Jim Brown, attempted to bring artists together and end the conflict. The existence of a hip-hop summit dedicated to settling beefs further underscores the fact that this wasn't just an East Coast versus West Coast issue, but a broader problem within the hip-hop community. And what about the music itself? In the midst of all the turmoil, the artistry of the two coasts was also affected. There is a recent resurgence of boom bap and East Coast hip-hop that highlights their return to traditional sounds and an emphasis on lyricism, which is valued in that region. And this highlights the fact that the conflict was about more than just violence, but also a creative battle. The East Coast-West Coast rivalry was more than just a feud. It was a complex web of personal relationships, business interests, media sensationalism, and the intense culture of the times. While the story of Tupac and Biggie is central to this narrative, understanding these lesser-known aspects provides a clearer picture of a tragic chapter in hip-hop history. The conflict wasn't just about the two coasts, but the individuals who got swept up in the drama and who are often forgotten in the headlines.